The United States likes to give an opinion on everything under the sun, especially if it does not concern them. Quite rich for the world's most powerful country, which could not protect its presidential candidate from getting shot at just a few months ahead of elections. Recently, Matthew Miller, spokesperson for the US Department of State, responded to a question by a Pakistani journalist on the recent stay by the Supreme Court in displaying names of eateries along the route of Kawad Yatra that started earlier this week. Miller said that they had seen the reports and the apex court had stayed on the implementation of nameplates on the routes and that the earlier order is not in place. Miller also said that the US has engaged with its Indian counterparts on the importance of equal treatment of members of all religions. First of all, it is none of US concern to have opinions or engage with its Indian counterparts on issues pertaining to India's internal matters. Kawad Yatra is a Hindu religious festival where devotees from all walk towards Haridwar, Gangotri and other holy places in the holy month of Shravan to fetch the waters of sacred Ganga river. This water is then offered to Shiva temples. It is one of India's largest religious gatherings and the devotees adhere to strict food restrictions. Just as non-Hindus in India have the right to not have their religious sentiments hurt, so do Hindus. Ensuring Kawad Yatri's sentiments are not hurt should not draw a comment from the United States of America. But this is not the first time a Pakistani journalist has asked such India-centric question to the White House, which has nothing to do with either America or Pakistan. Soon after the 2024 general elections, a Pakistani journalist asked Miller if India is turning into a Hindu state. And while Miller declined to comment on it, the fact that a Pakistani journalist even had the audacity to ask this question is amusing, considering neither of the countries have any local standing in the Indian electoral process. Here is the time the US Department of State pontificating on allegations of plot to assassinate Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu of Sikh for Justice. While India has ordered an inquiry into allegations, the US holding a moral high ground on killing terrorists on foreign soil is hilarious. I mean, America flew helicopters in the middle of the night to Pakistan and killed Osama bin Laden over terrorism charges. The same US also flew into Syria and killed ISIS chief Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Both these killings were announced by the then US presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump. The US was quite proud to have achieved the feat. So what is good for the goose should be good for the gander, right? Hypothetically speaking, if Indian state does take out a terrorist who has been constantly threatening India with violence while fueling separatist sentiments, how wrong is it from the US killing Osama bin Laden? Criteria for terrorism should be the same, right? Considering everyone wants to believe that terrorism has no religion, or is it that only the US that has the right to bump off terrorists on foreign soil? Prior to that, in April, one more Pakistani journalist had asked Miller about his comments on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's arrest in the Delhi liquor scam case. The US, Germany and UN envoys had commented on his arrest. To that, the Pakistani journalist had asked why the US takes no such stand when the Pakistani government arrests opposition leaders. First of all, even Pakistan should not have the US interfering in its internal matters. But hey, who are we to comment if Pakistan wants US interference? And second of all, Kejriwal was arrested and is being investigated on corruption charges according to the law of the land, that is India. The US has no agency to express concerns. Would the US take it kindly if India were to express concern over the agencies probing allegations against Hunter Biden, son of US President Joe Biden? During the run-up to general elections, PM Modi had said that India has no tolerance to terrorism on its soil and had said, "Ghar mein ghus kar marenge." Then US again advised India to cut down on rhetoric against Pakistan and insisted resolution through dialogue. Except the US itself doesn't quite believe in dialogue, as we have seen how US likes to establish democracy in countries over the years. Here is more of the US answering questions by Pakistani journalists on matters relating to India. And it is not just Pakistani, but even Bangladeshi journalists who ask pointed questions to the US regarding India's internal matters. Here is Bangladeshi exiled journalist Mushfiqur Fazal Ansari, who is a regular columnist with Modi-hating leftist propaganda portal The Wire, who had accused Indian government of removing allegedly critical comments on the Indian government and raised concerns over censorship. Here is him again asking questions on Kejriwal's arrest in Delhi liquor policy case. Ansari also questioned if the US is keeping tabs on Congress allegations of its bank accounts being frozen, which of course was a misleading political narrative Congress had tried to set during elections. India of course strongly objected to the US statements. Here is an interesting tidbit about Ansari though. The government of Bangladesh had sued him under the Digital Security Act along with France-based Bangladeshi activist Dr. Pinaki Bhattacharya. According to a November 2020 report, Ansari was booked by the Counter-Terrorism and Transnational Crime, that is CTTC Department of Dhaka Metropolitan Police, and was marked as absconding in the matter. In short, the person asking questions about India is an absconder in his own country. Which brings us to the question. Why is the White House entertaining these elements? Is the US State Department this jobless that it needs Pakistani and Bangladeshi people with seemingly questionable background to set up a narrative against India? Why are anti-India elements given a platform to further anti-India narrative under the guise of asking questions as a so-called right of a journalist when it is clear that the questions are asked not objectively but are motivated? Has the US not learned lessons from its own past that the monster they create will come to hound and consume them eventually? Let us know in the comments what you think of the US flawed strategy of taking on India.